Alright, what is popping my family squad? This is going to be a little bit different to what you're used to because, as you can see, it's me. It's me. It's not flow gameplay. Um, the reason I'm doing it like this is because fucking why not? Like, what better way could there possibly be to talk about some random dog shit content and then not have anything to actually look at and just have this to look at? Like, can you think of any better way? I didn't think so. Alright. So, a lot of people have been saying there's a little bit of a. I don't know where I'm going with this. I just felt like doing, the classic YouTube intro. But today, what we were talking about in so good depth, you would not understand the level of knowledge I have about this topic, is movies. Specifically movies that I like. Some that I don't like. We shall be getting to those, and I'll tell you why we're talking about that. But yeah, no, we're going to talk about lots of movies. So, first up, let me talk about a microphone I'm using. This is it's the Schluter 6783X. It's connected to my crappy little headset from Big W because that's the only way I can get it to work. I'm sure I could plug it in somehow else, but for the time being, I'm holding this and I'm holding a microphone, and it sounds like this. It's really delicious. Sweet. So, a bit different. When I play Flow, I find I get easily distracted from what I'm saying if it's not bleedingly obvious from my content. So I thought I'd just make this. So I've got my whiteboard here. It's got all my topics on it. It's basically just a list of movies. I'm going to go through them one by one. But yeah, there's a lot of them. Might not go into as much detail about some as I will about others. We shall see. I like how I've got the little timer at the top of the screen there. I'm using my phone to record this, by the way. That's why it's like amazing quality. So yeah, I've got the timer there, so I know how long I've been going for. Hopefully it won't be as long as the last one. It was a very long video, 42 minutes. Are you fucking kidding me, Jack? What the fuck is wrong with you? No, but dedicated food eaters. Really enjoyed it, I think. I don't actually know. I haven't asked any of them. This is my bed right behind me. I'm sitting on the floor right now because that's the only way I can mount my phone on the wall, which is balanced on top of a photo frame, believe it or not. So this is the most ghetto dog shit operation ever, I think. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah, I might do a video where I show you my gaming setup. We'll see. My sick gaming setup is just to the right of me here. It's literally a monitor and a PlayStation 4 on a chest of drawers full of clothes. Because I have no room in my bedroom. Literally, on that side, the wall stops just past that painting. And on that side, the wall stops just past that shirt that's hanging up there. And the wall that my phone's leaning on is the wall that my phone's leaning on. And the wall back there is the wall back there. So you can sort of tell the dimensions. I'm as big as... I'm bigger, actually, than the bedroom I'm sitting in right now. But believe it or not, I somehow managed to squeeze myself in here all the time. But, we're sweet. Let's jump into it. I'm an idiot. I hate myself. Let's get going. Alright. First of all, everyone always asks me, Jack, I know I care so much about your opinions. So, could you tell me, what is your favourite movie of all time? And without a single thought of doubt in my mind, I always say School of Rock. The reason being is because, I play guitar, which I love. It's a big thing in my life. And also Jack Black. I don't remember if I talked about this in my my video about music, but in my opinion, Jack Black can do no wrong. So all of his work with Tenacious D, all of his movies are so good. And the School of Rock, whew, find me a better movie and then I will stop jerking off thinking about Jack Black. And that will be impossible for most people. Yeah. Alright, let's keep going. No, let's not keep going. Funny story about School of Rock. one of my friends, um, shall remain nameless, she shouted me. I think I paid her back. I can't actually remember. If I didn't pay you back, let me know. I'll pay you back. Um, she shouted me, or she bought me a movie ticket to see School of Rock, 15th year anniversary at a local cinema here, and it was like just such a cool day, and there was a live band that played in the cinema beforehand. They just played a lot of like old rock songs that sort of get referenced in the movie, like, you know, classic AC/DC stuff, Kiss stuff, all that jazz. And it was such a cool time. It was just a very good experience. It's it's one of those movies that will always be dear to me, even if I watch it now and I go, oh, the production's not that great or this, that, the other. I'm still so in love with it because I've loved it forever, and because Jack Black's like my favorite artist and all that stuff. It's just, yeah, no, it's insane. Just love it to bits. Will do forever. Just, yeah, pretty much. That's all I can say. Fantastic soundtrack. I've started liking lots of new music because of that film. Introduced people to new music because of that film. Actually, funny enough, was introduced to the Ramones by that movie, because in a montage they play the song "My Brain is Hanging Upside Down," in parentheses Bonzo Goes to Pittsburgh, I think it is. But for some reason that's like one of the only Ramones songs not on Spotify, so I can't listen to it, and it really annoys me, but I love that song, love to death. It's fantastic. Next, The Breakfast Club. Now that is a good movie. And the reason I say that, you might be thinking, Jack, that's everyone's favourite movie. You have to get out of here. What are you playing at, lad? And I say to them, fair point, it is very mainstream. But the reason I like it so much, even though it's way before my time, came out in 1985, I was born in 1999, so 14 years before I was even born it came out. Which, I think most of the movies on this list came out before I was born. But you know what? That's fine. The reason I love it so much is though, even though they're in a school in 1985, the things that they say, the things that they do are so relatable. Like, listening to like the problems that they're having or the conversations that they have, it's like, I've had these exact same issues and these exact same complications and stuff like that, and it's one of those movies that is like timeless. So even watching it today, it has so much relevance in this day and age and all that sort of jazz. And there's so much focus on what's behind what you're seeing, sort of thing. So they create this world all outside the school just by the characters conversing. So they'll say things about their families or their relationships outside of when they're in detention in that library. But the entire movie takes place pretty much in that one room. It's like an hour and a half just of them sitting in that room chatting. But it goes into these like deep explorative narratives and stuff like that, and goes very deep into all the other characters. It's just, I have such a love for that movie. I sometimes just read the script when I'm bored, because some of the monologues that happen, especially the one at the very end, obviously, but in the scene where they're all sitting in a circle talking about why they ended up in detention, Andrew gives a monologue about why he basically hurt that little kid, that poor kid. It was all because he wanted his dad to be proud of him and stuff like that. My leg is going to sleep, so this is not a very good comfortable position to sit in. I'll have to find a better place when I do my next video. But yeah, no, it's just like those monologues are just really, I don't know, it sounds so gay, but they really make you feel, sort of thing. So you then put in their shoes and you understand how they're feeling based on what they're saying, and it's just an amazing piece of film. Now, those are the two favourite films. So number 1, School of Rock. Number 2, Breakfast Club. Number 3, 4, and 5 of my top 5 films are the Chris Nolan Batman trilogy with Christian Bale. And the reason I say that is because, one, they're cinematic masterpieces. No one can deny that. If you deny that, you're an idiot. No offense to people who deny that, but you're an idiot. Um, it it's similar. It like explore these depths into like the human psyche and stuff like that, and so it shows you how Bruce Wayne's feeling and why he does things and this, that, and the other, and goes back stories. But the thing that I love the most about it is it's not just a superhero movie. Like, it's not just a, oh, this guy fights crime and he defeats the bad guys and gets called in to help when they need him, stuff like that. It's more of a sort of, I don't know, it's like a self-discovery movie. I don't know how to explain it. See, I'm not a film critic and I know nothing about what I'm saying. I'm just saying why it's my favorite films. It's sort of, because it's like, and he didn't just get his superpowers by some supernatural event, and it's not like he's some supernatural human that's just better than everyone. He's just a normal average Joe. Obviously he has a lot of money from his dad, but he went through all this training and all this trial and error process, and he got hurt and all that sort of stuff, and he just, what was I saying? He developed it all himself. He didn't sort of just stumble upon anything. He built himself up. He did all that sort of stuff, and that's what I love about it. He didn't just suddenly have powers and was suddenly the strongest guy ever. Especially in the second one, where it has this, like, with the scene where Harvey and Rachel are strapped to the bomb. Spoiler alert, Rachel dies. Sorry if you haven't seen it. And the Joker says the things to him, and it's like, does he save someone for his own selfish reasons, or does he save someone for the good of the entire city? And he chooses to save Rachel, but he ends up saving Harvey because Joker lied about where they were. So they were opposite. So if he had gone with Harvey and done the good thing, he would have ended up saving Rachel anyway, which is what he wanted. But because he did the selfish thing and wanted to save Rachel for his own selfish reasons, he ended up saving Harvey, which is what he didn't want to do. And that's the thing that's sort of, that scene, that entire sequence, and then Harvey goes to a hospital, and then he becomes a bad guy and all that sort of stuff. The entire sequence, it's insane. Like, it's one of the saddest things ever. The Dark Knight is definitely my favourite out of the trilogy. Dark Knight Rises is my second favourite, and Batman Begins is my first favourite. Not to say that's my, third favourite. Not to say that they're bad films, but they're just, in my opinion, not as good as The Dark Knight. Yeah, can't talk highly enough. And I'll talk about the Spider-Man trilogy, which I like for pretty much the same reasons, except not as much, because he just happens upon these powers. But the thing is, I'm not really a fan of Marvel superhero movies, like all part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, just because they're all the same. They're all superhero gets powers, superhero fights crime, superhero almost loses, superhero fights back and then wins. That's the entire plot of like most of those movies. But the Spider-Man trilogy Sam Raimi did, it's like more than just a more than just a superhero movie. So similar reason as to why I like the Batman one is that there's deeper sort of, I don't know what the word is. It just goes deeper into the characters. There's more to sort of learn from watching it. Got so many movies on this list. They're sort of split into categories. So there's my top movies of all time. I guess I can talk about the silly comedies and stuff like that. So things like, what have I got here? Ferris Bueller, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. That's sort of it. They're just like silly family comedies that are, you just love. You can't help but love it. Silly comedy. They're fun to watch. National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation plays on Christmas Day every single year, and we watch it on Christmas Day every single year. And it never gets old. We love that movie, me and my family. It's great. I guess Scooby-Doo 2 is also in that category, but even I watched it the other day for the first time in a couple of years, and there's some like the conversations some of the characters have, like Shaggy and Scooby have, is so like deep. I would have never expected it from like a kids movie. And also the conversation that Shaggy has with Old Man Wickles at the Faux Ghost, it's fantastic. Like, I've never noticed that before. It's so deep, it's crazy. My foot is completely gone to sleep, so this is fun. um what else is there? All right, The Goonies and The Mighty Ducks. Now, these movies are some of my personal all-time favorites as well, because they're like the underdog kid stories, growing up, coming of age, whatever you want to say. It's like, it's obviously they're comedies and they're supposed to be funny and silly, but they do have that character development. It sort of shows, and The Mighty Ducks goes throughout the entire trilogy. You see Charlie grow up and become a different person, and you see all the ducks grow up, become a different person. The Goonies is only one movie, but it's all about everyone shuts them down because they're kids, and they go find this treasure and save their house, all by themselves. They don't need the help of adults, and I think that's the point of the movie, is to show that not every kid needs to be babied all the time to be great, and that's what I love about them so much. In The Mighty Ducks, the kids only become great once Gordon Bombay gets over his own stuff, his own personal journey. He needs to realize that he is in love with hockey. He does love it. He does like kids. He only hated hockey for his own selfish reasons once again. So he needs to find that touch again, and he does. He finds himself, and then he changes the team name from District 5 to the Mighty Ducks, and then he loves them, and yada yada yada. You get what I'm saying. Now, I've got down here Fritz the Cat and the Wizards. I've only seen both of those movies once each, but they're both Ralph Bakshi movies. They're both animated movies from like the 1970s. Now, Fritz the Cat is a strange movie. It's about like a college student who just goes on some weird adventures, and it's supposed to be like allegorical or something. I didn't really get it. I enjoyed it. I sort of got it, but for the most part, not really. Wizards was a different one. It was much easier to get. It was basically about the Second World War. One of them was Hitler. One of them was, I think, the British guy, Churchill, Winston Churchill. Not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure that's what it was, though. But yeah, it's basically just an allegory for the war. Good movie. Very trippy towards the end. Shows blatant images of like Nazi propaganda and stuff like that. It's great. Recommend watching it. Rocky Horror I've got on there. Fantastic soundtrack, fantastic performance by Tim Curry. Great all round. Loved it. Is pretty funny, pretty weird. I'm not very good at film reviews, so I don't really know if there's any deeper meanings or anything like that. Back to the Future, fantastic trilogy. Once again, that's sort of that family comedy, but it's very like, it's one of those things that has deeper meanings again. It's like that movie that's sort of a bit weird. It's fantastic concept, and the whole timeline changing thing's so strange. It Follows, one of the few horror movies I have on here. Sorry, my mic just fell down. One of the few horror movies I have on here. It was a very good movie. The soundtrack, oofed, that sort of electronic soundscape, I guess you could say. It's like, it's crazy. It was a good movie, interesting concept. I liked it, very well done. I guess the point of this video right now is just to literally tell you the movies that I like, and so you get a sense of what I'm into, I guess, if you want to recommend me things. The Shining was another one. Now that is a weird. I've read so much on The Shining. I've seen it about 4 or 5 times, and I've read so many things on it, and it blows my mind how deep it goes. Like, I haven't read the book. I've been meaning to. Apparently it's a lot better than the movie, but Stanley Kubrick did a fantastic job. It was like one of the best horror movies I've ever seen. Love it to bits. Damn, we're getting through this quicker than I thought we would. That's fine. Because my leg's hurting. Juno, another one of those movies that I really liked. That's sort of one of those underdog kind of movies. So she gets pregnant. She wants to give the baby up for adoption, finds someone good, then finds out that's bad, that's the wrong choice, and so she, like, it's like it's whole self journey and stuff like that. It's weird. Fantastic movie. Ellen Page, Jason Bateman, awesome. Love it to bits. Oofed. Now, Pulp Fiction. Now, this movie is sometimes called like one of the greatest movies of all time. I disagree with that statement, but I don't think it's a bad movie. I've seen it probably 3 times now. It's very long. But I liked it for what it was. It was an interesting concept with the changing timelines and all that sort of stuff. And I really did. It was good. My brother sort of criticizes it for saying, and says like, oh, it's too long and nothing sort of happens. It's just a couple of days. But like, that's the best kind of movie. Like I said, Breakfast Club, nothing really happens. It's about the outside world it creates. And you think about books like Catcher in the Rye, which is, by the way, my favorite book of all time. Nothing really happens. A kid just spends a couple of nights in New York City. That's about it, after getting expelled from school. But it's like the deeper sort of perceptions of the characters, I guess you could say. Maybe not perceptions. It's sort of just like, how do I explain this? They have their own adventures, obviously, but it's the consequences of those adventures. It's the character development. It's like the reason that what's her name died, John Travolta gets shot, is because Samuel L. Jackson's not there, and because he goes on that massive rant about how there was like an act of God, a miracle that sort of stopped him from, that made him want to quit, and so then he didn't do it anymore. And because John Travolta didn't understand what he was saying or didn't listen to him or whatever, he ended up dying because of it. And so it goes to show what Samuel L. Jackson was saying was true. Like, they were on their last chance. Like, there's no other real way of explaining it, I guess. That's really it. Pulp Fiction's a fantastic movie. I do like it. Not the best movie of all time, obviously, because School of Rock is. It's fantastic. I love it. Lego Batman and the Lego Movie, both very good movies. Sort of very self-aware movies, really like to make fun of themselves sort of thing. That's up there. Scott Pilgrim, Edgar Wright, fantastic director, so good. Scott Pilgrim's another one of those like self-discovery movies, fantastic from start to finish. I love it. Good actors. Michael Cera is a fantastic actor, love him. Lots of people tell me that he's shit, but I like Michael Cera. He's a good guy. That's why I like Juno as well. What else have I got there? That's really it. The movies that I like the best, you might notice there's not really any action movies in that list. It's because I just don't really like action movies. Like, I guess you could say the Batman trilogy is action movies, but at the same time, they're like different kind of action movies. Don't get me wrong, I've no problem with action movies. It's just they're not my personal preference. I just like to avoid those bad boys. That's pretty much all I wanted to say. I gotta find a cool, funny intro. I'll be like, because I've been watching Jack Black's new YouTube channel, Jablinski Games, and he goes, "What's Jable and Jable's? Jable's back with another Jablinski Games, Jable an episode, Jable's." And I just find that freaking hilarious. Jack Black's a god in my eyes. Take me seriously. It'd be funny to say something cool like, what's poppin', my fellow food eaters? We eating food. Make sure you got your food ready, because we're going to be eating food this time. Maybe I won't say that, because that was the worst thing I think I've ever said in my life. Maybe. We'll see. I had a plan. I was going to film this last night when I had dinner, and just eat at the same time. Because that'd be funny. That would sort of combine the two series I have going, is the commentary and the all that stuff. Yeah, I might see how we're going. I will continue the flow series. I've just got to figure out how to do it. I think my flow videos. So when I talk about stuff, this will be the style of doing it. I'll just film myself. When I do flow, I will probably get other people on and just do a podcast for like an hour and a half. Maybe we'll see. Just have a conversation with them. We'll see how we go. Yeah. I think that would be the best way to do it, because when the levels get harder, which is what they're doing, I find it hard to concentrate on what I'm saying. So it ends up being like a dog shit content. So it's kind of lucky that really long one I uploaded last time, the audio didn't work, because then I got to re-record the audio when I wasn't playing the game, and sort of just fix it. That was the only thing I was concentrating on, and that's what I like about this as well. I'm just concentrating on what I'm saying, so it's bit better. Anyway, gonna head off now. Catch us all. I'll make an epic outro. I don't know, maybe not, we'll see. If there's one, that means I made one. If there isn't, it means I didn't. So there you go. Catch ya, boys and girls.